Okay, due to some corruption problems in the last few videos, I don't know what exactly is happening, but I'll just check on my phone this time. I will just go through all the indicators in one video, and then I can just split up into a few of them. So let's see how it goes. I'm Big Truss Trading, and here, let's figure this stuff out. I'll show you guys a few great indicators on Tradingview, and I will gladly help you guys build it all together in the way that you want to make your strategy a little bit more fluent. 1 second. Let's see if this actually works. All right, perfect. So when we add this chart, does it go black or does it still work? Instantly goes black. Okay, what if we turn it off? Okay, it just almost worked. Okay, so that's the problem. Share again. All right, perfect. So that's how we do it. So this is a kind of funny concept. This is the AI chart. So we got Lorentzian classification, which is this one. It gives you these little callouts. It is pretty OP to say the least. You can just run it all day, put alerts on it like this, alert, and then it gives you a trade from here. These are 10-minute charts, so if you get in the first 2-3 minutes, you can take all this profit plus this, which is pretty crazy. Same thing here. This one's a little bit more sketchy, but very good indicator. One of my favorite AI ones. VWAP is always good to have to know if it's bearish or bullish. This is the line right here, this red. Turn it off, you can see which one it is, the yin yang machine learning. So here it goes above it, comes back down, it's a little bit oversold, and wants to come back to the middle point. Most of the times that is the area where VWAP is the strongest, so it's kind of like a pivot point. And yeah, that's one of the best parts about this one. Then we see right here is the bottom half and the top half. These are standard deviation of 2, which is wonderful as well. And this is just regular without any inputs or differences in my indicators. So when you download these own indicators, they will be the exact same. Same for the volume super trend. Very cool one. I'll show you guys the scripts for all of these too. So it's pretty easy to understand. So this one works like this, that when it's above the line, even if it's green, it usually means it's going negative. Like here, this is kind of like a stop loss, almost moving trailing stop loss, which is great. If you get into the position at a good time, you can kind of run it like that, but you really want to stick to the candles. So you don't go for the negative trades like here. Your stop loss was up here. You make a little bit of profit because it breached through, that would make it negative here as well. Here you see positive again. Breach through is now underneath, going up, bullish, bearish, all the way down, bullish. That's how it pretty much works, and this is how it looks on this chart. This one is the VWAP. About the script, also very cool. Huge size means that there's a lot of volatility and we can see a lot of movement. And then it kind of uses almost a Bollinger Band style, which just shoots back in like a little hairband, and it goes right back down here, which is really wonderful to see. And yeah, that's this one. Down here we got RSI, machine learning. I don't like this RSI as much. It's not really learning much, to be quite honest. And these numbers throw me off. And then this one too is pretty good with the volume. If it's immense volume, you can see that this is in the midpoint. So let's say right here, we broke through, we can start putting a stop loss underneath here, and then we can just let it run because the volume is very strong. There's a lot of positives with it, and this is the algo alpha. AI adaptive money flow index, you can see here too, super negative, a lot of volume, then it loses the volume, which makes it even more inclined to drop in quite a lot more because there's just no one buying and the market's not going to move other than market makers doing whatever they want to do. So that's their next order is down here, fills that thing, fair value gap actually created, which takes a lot of time to be refilled in. So that's a fair value right here. Beautiful. And the last one is this one. About the scripts. Also same thing, up and down. Above this VWAP, pretty much moving average stuff. Here it has all of these RSI, CCI, DMI, AA now that is EMA and super trend. So the trend kind of shows you too, like no negative, negative, positive, positive, buy in shorts. So that's why it's kind of cool to have these kind of indicators on your chart. But this is all AI. It just decreases the amount of work that you have to do in all of this. Now the next one we will go through is, let's go with one of my favorite, let's go with volume. Here, does it update? Did it update on here? Did the screen go black? Perfect. So this one has a few cool areas too. You can see here you have my favorite RSI, the NNT RSI down here. Very, very strong RSI for relative strength index, and it helps you find the volume the way it wants to move. Above 50 means bullish, below it means bearish, and that's kind of how you also have to judge some of these trades because it doesn't fully go down here as much as you would want, but it is going down a little bit. So this one is about scripts. Simple neural network transformed RSI, that is this one. Cool colors too, the neon. This one you can match with these very, very well. Then you see like these kind of movements, volume pump, crazy volume, kind of nice. Here slowly we see red, here we see red. They both go together really well. They do the same thing. They're both clear and nice to see, and they can help you identify what's going on in the charts in the intermediate short term to long term, which is very, very cool to see. This right here is volume super trend. It's still the same thing as before. We used it on the last AI chart. Very, very cool. Lux Algo Machine Learning on this. It kind of gives you ranges. So this gives you a range, volume range. That's what we kind of need for this to work, so we know if it's positive or negative or what's going on with the volume. Same with this one. This is the entire volume we need on the side. Beautiful as well. This one is called Machine Learning Regressions. This one is called Volume Profile. So we kind of find the main area it wants to be at, which is right here, and it gives us the number 25141. Right now we're 4 points below it. So very, very interesting. We'll come back up, hopefully, because that's the area most likely we want to get back to, and right now we're pumping back up to it. And that's the idea of pivot points and the way it kind of works. And then this range sentiment profile, also very, very good. This is this entire thing. We zoom in and kind of see what it truly is about. And this helps kind of making these kind of things as going to rebound or drop. This helps us see what the range is. It more likely wants to come up here because that's where all the volume comes from. And then we have the same thing here. It drops a little bit below it. Volume's still strong, so it's kind of a fake out, but we know because of this. So there's a lot of divergences that come together to help you kind of figure out what exactly will happen in this trade at all times, which is really, really cool and helpful. That's why this entire concept is an amazing concept, just like the AI one. And it's just a cool build together, and you can always use whatever chart you want. Here's the next one, Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Band one is really, really cool as well. I used to use this one non-stop. It has this volume over here. Money flow profile. This is the one. It gives you the exact prices you truly want to see. A little bit of ranges. Gold means the most volume in that area. So up here, strong. This entire area is pretty strong, so it would kind of be like good trades in this area. Very weak volume. You don't love that. Here, it's okay. Down here too, it's kind of losing that, and it's going green. So you can see there's more positive buying volume, so it's going to start shooting up, going into the negative, and once again into shorts again. And that's where order blocks come into play. When you have good order blocks, then you kind of can figure out what exactly you want. So we could add order blocks to this one to make it an even stronger, better indicator, and that would actually be pretty smart. This is my favorite Bollinger Bands one. Absolutely beautiful. It uses these two lines with standard deviation, so you have double the power. So in between, this one's 20 and this one's 30 pretty much, or actually 20 and this 10, 10. So in between, it will rebound better from this area, and it really works like a hairband. And then you can see from here, it breaches through this one, still gonna lose some money. Then you see this one, okay, now it's actually overbought or oversold. This one's oversold in this scenario. We start going back up. Back to the midpoint pretty much. It breaches the middle midpoint for this one, and then it's stuck in this area. A good way to get out of it, and that is how this kind of works for Bollinger Bands. Very, very cool, and my favorite one. Also give you guys a second here to write down all these numbers. 24, 24, we have two of them. This one is 20 because that's the normal one, 14. And then we have the pivots here. This one is a very, very good one too, VWAP pivots. Because it's a pivot point, usually it's VWAP because it means bearish, bullish. Bullish, this one crazy, goes bearish, bullish, bearish, very simple, bearish, bullish, bearish, and it moves over time to figure out where the volume is. So this one is similar to the last one, but also very, very wonderful. And one of my favorite ones as well to use. Let's see, is it black or it works? Okay, it still works. Love it. And with these, you can place easy trades, and it can kind of help you too with certain things like this because of where are these candles? Volume delta candles. So we gotta go to a higher time frame. That's what we did before our videos corrupted. You see this little white thing on all of these, it can help you figure out where the volume truly is in the candle, giving you a little bit more input rather than having like 60 numbers next to it to figure it out that change over time. It just goes one little line, and then the next time around, it's a very good resistance. So it's a very, very beautiful thing to do like that. Here, this breach point was interesting. From the top, breach. And then here too, volume. This volume breaches below it. Then it gets very strong. Very nice trade. This one beforehand had something like that as well. Let's go to the 10-minute to figure it out. And this is why the volume delta candles are really good to create some nice ranges. Because it just helps you out with all this stuff. And then this little range bound area can help you because the most volume is in this area. As we can see here, and as we can see here. So all of them kind of go together, and that's kind of the idea of creating Lego blocks and putting them all together like an AI type of workflow, because then you're like, okay, so this gives me the consensus for where the volume truly is. So that's the area it wants to come back to. It bounces back from the Bollinger Bands. Now this is a safe trade to get back into here. And once it breaches in and it makes it, you're like, okay, now I can move up my stop loss to this red area. Then run a little bit, take some profits on the way. Always a good thing. A break-even trade is the best kind of trade because you didn't lose anything. It's better to just win, make it small wins, than have a single loss. That's why my win rate is usually literally little bit higher, and the rest is just more about getting a lot of trades in during the day. Now, that is the Bollinger Band strategy. And that's pretty much all to this one. Let's load into the next one. Volume we did, AI only we did, Bollinger Bands we're done with. We need triangles. or trend, then triangles. This one we changed the page. So here, restart, trend, share. Now let's see what happens here. Does it still work? Okay, perfect. So on this one, we see this is a very nice chart. We got the VWAP, the one I love so much. Bearish, bullish, always above this one. Same thing with here. They kind of go from time frame to time frame. So underneath this then would be a new bearish. But overall, this is a bearish trend. Till it goes over this again, we don't go bullish. So you can always keep it at shorts at that kind of area if you really want to trade that way, which is amazing. Plus, this is the same standard deviation bands. This is my favorite one. VWAP standard deviation bands, V2 mod, made by the Yang Guizi. All chart patterns is made by Top Step itself, so you can just get all of the charts that you truly want, which is amazing, and it kind of helps you out with many things like figuring out what the hell this trend is, rising wedge it is, tell you 76.42% probability of uptrend, which is very cool. You can add some volume into this and stuff too, but this just makes your chart very open and visible. It gives you even some shorts here. Like here, it breaches through, it gives you this red, so you know it's a short, and you can take that short all the way down to here. So that's 150 points right there. Here, red, it got rejected, it's still bearish, down, nice trade as well. Here, rejects, green, crazy trade. So that's why this Bayesian trend is actually wonderful, and these are my adjusted numbers. So first, this is the script I would recommend to use. Bayesian trend indicator chart prime by chart prime. And these are the numbers I put in, 60, 20, 10. Really cool. Here we see down. It hasn't dropped through the new VWAP that's starting a new area. So sometimes you gotta be careful because it could just happen like this, and you're in a trade because you think this is gonna come back down. That's why you just wait until it goes through this stuff, because now we have a new one, and all of a sudden it starts breaking up over it. Wants to be over the volume again. It's still a very bullish day, and that's this kind of stuff that's very interesting. Here, green. Let's see if it gets rejected or moves through this. This is going to be interesting, even though this is like barely visible. There's just so much volume and everything. If it doesn't breach through, it's not that strong of a move, but if it does, while we're watching it right now, we got like a minute or two anyways, we can see what can happen. And then we have a rising wedge, which has now a 93.09% chance of the trend continuing up. Very interesting. And these three in one, which are actually amazing. Right now it's breaking through to the bottom, I'm pretty sure, right? This is actually, it's right there. Well, yeah, we can wait on the outcome, or we will move on to the next chart. Let's just see what happens right here, honestly. That's what trading is about. Has to breach 163 to 164, and then it's a free floater. Kind of more taking liquidity in, and then it could pump afterwards. But the one thing about this one is we should add some volume into this to understand what the money is truly doing right now. Where's the liquidity? What's exactly happening? But for a little three-pointer, this is actually wonderful. And it makes the chart not as crowded and pretty nice. Yeah, all right. Well, that's the trend one. Also really wonderful. Let's move on to the triangle one. Triangle has, actually order blocks. Order blocks is a gorgeous one too. here. Okay, order block. It's visible. Beautiful. So this one is also really wonderful because it just gives you order blocks and it has a few strategies in it as well, which is kind of crazy. So the time sessions is just to know like when the volume can pump in at any time. You don't exactly know what's going on because you don't know the times as well because you may be traveling the world or anything. So you put in the time sessions top to bottom. So you know when it's Sydney Open, Asia Open, London Open, and New York Open. So you know all those things. And then you can also play by the hourly. So London Open will then go 1 hour later. We go into Frankfurt Open. Oh, actually, it's reversed. It's Frankfurt Open, then London Open. It's Oceanic Open first, so Australia, Sydney. You go to Asia, and then it goes into so Japan, then China. Then it goes down the floor to Russia. Then you have to open like hourly like that. So at some point you understand where the volume comes from. But the biggest one are London Open, Sydney Open, Asia Open, and New York Stock Exchange, of course, the most liquidity. But over time, you kind of get the hang of all of that, which is really, really wonderful. And it's made like this. New York, Tokyo, London, purple is Sydney. And then actually on the bigger time frames, it's easier to understand. So then we have the moon phase strategy, which actually is super profitable, and it's maybe a better thing for trading options, to be honest. Because every single month, it will tell you when it's new moon and when it's full moon. And then it will tell you close the short or get into the short. Close the long, get into the short. Close the short, get into the long. And most of the time, almost 50% to 70% of the time, it actually is correct, which most traders are not on a win rate over 50%. So some of these trades can truly make you a lot of money. Then this one is swing high, swing low. High, 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 low. These are dojis, and it gives you like these small things. HH none, inverse hammer, inverse hammer. So you know like the energy of how strong it will come back. Because dojis, there's gravestone, there's morning star, there's inverse hammer, and something else like I think inverse hammer. And then there's none. Those are like 4 or 5 of them pretty much. And that's what it helps you with here to understand when it's a reversal. So these charts are very good for reversals, change of structures, break of structures here. So very, very strong too. That's a smart money one. The smart money one does pretty much everything on this chart. About this, smart money concepts, SMC, Lux Algo. You have this order block is in the red area. If it goes past half, that's one expert tip. It will continue up to this and then maybe still come down. But if it doesn't breach this half point and actually breaches out of it, you will expect it to continue. Like, so if it's here halfway and it goes up a little bit, but it comes back down, this is like the new range. So if it goes underneath it, you're going bearish. If it goes above it, you're going bullish. And it can come and retry and retry and retry. Like all of this has been is like trying to get through a support level of 25144 or 145 or 140. That's kind of the entire idea. So that's a super interesting part about this one. And this indicator is amazing. So then it goes in here. A little bit of volume just was pumped in. It starts shooting up. It will always want to go for the area where there is volume to get the people out of the trades. So a lot of volume here. That's why Stop losses count just like good old buys and take profits. So that means both ways you will see this being stop losses or this being stop losses depending on how people trade. And then it just depends on how the money is moving at that exact second. So that's why this one is incredible, and that's why Smart Money Concepts Lux Algo is one of my favorite as well. Now we have two more, and then we are done. So we got most used triangle. This one is very, very basic. It is so basic we might actually just go to all of them in one here. All in one. So this is the trend, the triangle one. I got two of them in here, one of 50, one of 40. 14. You can also put one of 30 in there. Works really, really well. So this one helps you if you're too lazy to do these trend lines or you don't know how to do trend lines correctly. This one helps you quite a lot. Just like this is a trend, this is a trend. It breaks through upwards, breaks through here. These are kind of interesting points where it comes back down. And then you have this kind of stuff where it's like stuck inside of it for a bit. It moves with it for a little while. And that's why trend lines are so amazing, because it just follows the trend, and trend trading is one of the best things. How about we go on the correct one? We've had a good time so far, so how about we to actually making this video work this one time? That would be freaking awesome. So yeah, this is how the chart looks. It's pretty nice, and it's like a lot of colors. It's neon thing. That's why I love for the confirmations. That's what you can use with this trend line indicator. Very, very fun and good one. And yeah, so then you have all these things coming together. There's going to be a bigger move in approximately 15 minutes. That's going to be crazy. So you see all this stuff. Trend line, trend line, trend line. Here, new trend line. But you could just continue it with this trend line. This would have been a crazy move right here. We just continued this trend line. If you don't know how to draw them correctly, this can help you change the game pretty much instantly. So we go like this. We want it exactly on this line, right there. So it wants to get out of this little pocket right there. Trend, Dorito is formed, shoots down, fake out, comes back up, shoots up, big trade for 30 points pretty much. And that's why it's so good to practice this, because then every time, if you just have this chart, like you can go like this, be like, okay, so right here, when it breaks past here again, then I can go into a short, and you just get a little bit more trust in your trading, which is very important. You got to have confidence and belief that your trading does work. Here, now it's this. Same thing for the opposite ones, and that's why it's crazy to just learn how to make these little adjustments to your trading game and just use these indicators to learn, because that's the biggest part. You will learn how the money moves, all these other things, liquidity and stuff, and then you can build your strategy with all these indicators, and your game just gets better, because if you've seen this thing before, you'll be like, okay, it breaches here, take my stop loss here, and let it go this way. Patterns do repeat, just like history. History rhymes sometimes and history repeats. So that's why 4 times, if you get it wrong and you put the stop loss a little bit too low, maybe the 5th time you put it right here. Then it comes back down, you're happy, good trade. You put your stop loss underneath this, really nice. And you don't always need a stop loss. Trailing stop losses, I personally believe, are okay. You just gotta be really smart and have some experience. So those are the wonderful indicators for this one. We have the trend lines with breaks. This is from Lux Algo. This is how it looks like. This is the code. Then here, VWAP, standard deviation bands, V2 are these things. Auto fib, can also add it in here. I don't love the Fibonacci's, but it's also a good one. So now we know that's the low. That's kind of crazy. That's why they actually are so good on this chart too. And these are the auto fib extensions, which are actually offered by Tradingview when you just put into indicators auto fib. Delta volume candles help you out as well. We've seen green, green. This one's interesting, a lot of volume, green, green, red. This can help you with scalping. So these are all the different little things, and hopefully this video works this time. I'm Big Truss Trading. If you need any help with creating any of these, leave your comments in the section below, and I'll gladly help you create your master plan or master strategy, and I'll build together like Legos and help you out with my expertise that I have. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.